Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is the weekend, and hopefully everybody has a great weekend. I got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today I want to talk a little bit about silver manipulation. We've seen it in full force last week. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe that silver manipulation exists, almost like there's no point in it. We're just going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to show you guys something that happened interesting the last couple days, and we saw it in the beat down in silver price. That really was kind of unexplained as silver was starting to work its way up, and then all of a sudden it just got destroyed in price. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please take a few minutes and hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this. And if you're not subscribed, take a quick minute, hit that subscribe button. Okay, so jumping right off, the first thing I got to say is silver manipulation is real. Despite people out there saying that it does not exist, you don't have to look much further than what we've seen last week. As I'm going to show you guys real quick. I just want to make sure I can show this. So this is a post that was put up on Wall Street Silver. And what's cool about this is people can go and they can verify the screenshot of this and the authenticity of it. And basically 50,700,000 paper ounces were instantly sold off in 30 minutes time. And it's crazy because it was actually 10,140 5,000 ounce contracts that all hit the market at about the same time as you zoom in and look at how much red there was. And that did beat down the price heavily. And we ended up closing out the day. And if anybody wants to see these posts, I follow a lot of the posts on Wall Street Silver. And it's pretty interesting. People that spend a lot of their time following this stuff, researching it, like myself. You know, a lot of us use that to post strange things that we've seen. I've actually seen one of the strangest things I've seen where the price fell. I mean, it fell by like $4 in like 1 minute and then instantly recovered. And then the next day, the chart was just washed like it never happened. That was the chart that was posted. It showed that day, but it was corrected after the day finished to almost be erased like it just continued to happen. And we know manipulation happens because we've seen companies like JP Morgan get essentially sued and, pay billions of dollars in fines for the manipulation that they do. But, you know, it's one of them things that as long as the profit outweighs the fine, who cares? I mean, I hate to say it like that. That's the way these businesses look at it. I mean, if you could do something illegal, let's say rob a bank, and if you get away with robbing the bank, you make a lot of money. And if you get caught robbing the bank, let's say hypothetically, they just say, okay, we're just going to fine you $100. I mean, you would try it. A lot of people would. Now, here's the only thing about that example, why that example is not an exact fit. Because if you don't get away with it and you pay the $100 fine, well, you don't have any profit. But when it comes to manipulation, even if they get caught, they still profit. Now, it's very rare that people go to jail for this. It's usually a big fine, and they can eat the fines like it's nothing. And in most cases, they'd rather just settle. And by settling out, they don't have to admit guilt. That's why a lot of the stuff that happens, you don't even hear about it. What will happen is they'll just pay their fine. The FCC will collect the money, and that's it. It's over. Every once in a while, it does go to trial. It extends. And it does make the news. And that's why you can Google trading precious metals manipulation. And you can find a lot of good information on it. So, you know, and what is the purpose of it? Why do they do it? Well, obviously, there's a lot of money to be made at it. Some people, this is where it gets into a little speculation. My theory is there's a lot of money to be made at it. You know, just to beat all the other people by a fraction of a minute. If I knew a lot of ounces were going to get bought today, and I could just buy them a minute early and then sell them a little higher, push the price up just a little bit. Well, that adds up to a lot of money in large contract trades. Some people believe that it has to do the manipulation with keeping the price of silver down for the government so they can use it for military complex, and continue to make Tomahawk missiles, new technologies, that type of stuff. Some people believe it's to help the economy, and the more precious metals are beat down, not allowed to go up, the more essentially we can continue to push the economy, keep cell phones so places can make cell phones, computers, whatever the case may be. But the truth of the matter is, it really doesn't matter how much I believe a cell phone costs. People are still going to buy it. People are going to want the latest and greatest technology, and especially if they can just pay the minimum monthly fee, it would make sense that that would be the reason too. But I don't believe that that is. I think the big reason is just to be able to make money and acquire as many ounces as they can. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about not just the why this happens, but why this won't continue forever. Because a lot of people say they don't want to invest in precious metals until the manipulation is over. There's a lot of advantages that come with precious metals manipulation, including the ability for people like us to buy it cheaper. Can you imagine? I mean, think about for a minute how long you have to work for an ounce of silver. I mean, just to get an ounce of silver right now, you're looking at roughly $33. You're looking at that's a $2.50 spot. A generic ounce of silver, $33. And you wouldn't be able to buy it that cheap if there wasn't as much manipulation as there is. I mean, the price would continue to climb up. I mean, it comes out of the ground anywhere from 8 to 1 compared to gold to, we'll say, 12 to 1 compared to gold. But yeah, when you've got a price ratio of over 80 to 1, I mean, you have to understand that that is manipulation. And the cost of it, yes, oil has been coming down, so it's getting a little cheaper to mine. However, you have to also understand that the easy mining, a lot of that has been picked clean. The low-lying fruit, it's been picked clean. And the reason this can't go on forever is because eventually you start seeing the surplus of silver starts to get diminished. And as you continue to have a deficit year over year, now a deficit does not mean that we run out of silver tomorrow. I always explain it as in, like, if you've got a checkbook and you've got $1,000 in there, and every week you're getting paid $100, but you're spending $200. Well, that's great until you run out of your $1,000 that you have saved up. Each week you're going to be extra $100 in the hole, which means you'll have to take that out of your savings, which means your savings will go from $1,000 to $900, then to $800, and at about 10 weeks, you're going to run out of money unless you do something different or something different happens. Now, the question is, what different could happen in this scenario? Some people believe, oh, well, we'll find a bigger deposit of silver and it will flood the market, and that's a very slim possibility in my opinion. What will eventually happen is they will have to let it go up. And when the price skyrockets, well, there are always going to be people selling. I've read comments of people that sold their silver at $34 and they're so happy they did and this and that. And they're thinking they're going to buy it back at 20, maybe 25. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys in this video that that's not physically possible, because we could see a pullback, but is it likely? Is it likely? And when it happens, the major thing that I always say too is, let's just say you don't buy it. Well, a lot of times stuff comes up in life. Maybe your car breaks down, maybe your hot water heater goes out, maybe they run a sale on nice flat screen TVs, and you spend that money that you were holding, those fiat dollars. And then let's just say it did dip. I mean, will you still have that money set aside? And then there's also the problem of when it dips, will anybody be willing to sell it? You know, when silver went down to $11, it was kind of crazy because I wanted to buy a bunch at $11. And this was during the whole cough. But places shut down. Nobody was willing to sell it. It was crazy what was going on. And once you realize that, you really start to realize that will you be able to get it and replace it when the time comes? The manipulation's real. It cannot last forever. Once it starts breaking free, even if the price starts skyrocketing, there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to sell it. But if they're willing to sell it, how much did they really have in the first place? You know, I talk to people that are willing to sell when the price went up to 30. I mean, I've bought from some of these people. But here's the thing. It's not like they had a ton. You know, they weren't as dedicated. Because once you've got a lot of silver, you really understand what's going on. You believe in what we talk about here on the channel. And at that point, you're not going to part with your silver for pennies on the dollar because you know how high silver is going to eventually go. And this manipulation cannot last forever. It has to eventually come to an end because nothing, it's like trying to hold a beach ball under the pool, under the water. You can hold it under for a little bit. And then eventually when you let it go, what happens to it? It doesn't just come to the surface where that's the natural place. On the surface of the water is where the beach ball should be floating around. But it's going to shoot out of the pool at that point. It's going to overshoot where it belongs. And this manipulation of us holding it down is like a bunch of energy compressed into a compressed spring. And eventually, when it lets go, it jumps. And it doesn't just jump to where it belongs. It skyrockets. And that's kind of where I think silver is going to go at some point in time. When? That's a big question. I mean, you know, as we start to see crazy things happen in the markets, we see things with manipulation, I think a lot of that is going to start coming to the surface. And we're going to start seeing prices of silver and gold go up. A lot of countries are buying up gold, but you know, as gold continues to climb in price, a lot of people are moving away from gold and they're starting to buy silver instead because it's a more affordable option and a way to preserve your wealth. Even though we've been seeing the beat down in silver, we haven't really seen it go under 30 recently. It's been a while now since we've seen under 30. You know, the recent low that we went down to was like 29.50. And it jumped right back up shortly after. And then, you know, once you realize that, you understand that the prices cannot stay down forever and that they eventually will go up. The question is, will you have your silver when that day comes? So with that being said, going to wrap up the video here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that answers some of y'all's questions about manipulation and will it ever come to an end. Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them and hear what you think because this is just a buying opportunity to me. It does not faze me in the least that the price has not skyrocketed, but it can't be beat down right now. And when you see stuff that happened last week like it did, I mean, I don't believe that many ounces of silver actually got sold onto the market. Those contracts will never deliver. Those contracts are going to settle out in fiat dollars when they come to an end. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, we are coming up on the end of the year, which means a lot of short positions will have to eventually settle out as the new year does come. So they have the most incentive to beat the price down right now. And that's kind of what I think we did. We're not going to let it go up until at least the year comes to an end. I'm hoping to see some good buying opportunities. More preferably, I think we'll see something happen during the Christmas break, I guess you can say. When the China markets are closed down for a while, the U.S. markets are closed down for a while. Don't be surprised to see something happen. And literally one day when they're open, all of a sudden the price just plunges temporarily. And then all of a sudden it spikes. And that's what I think will happen. But we'll see what happens. The year is coming to an end. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget that thumbs up. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow on T-Square Talk. Take care, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.